You have definitely scrolled past those crazy AI videos on your feed and wondered which model actually makes the best stuff. Today, I want to break down the most talked about AI video tools, figure out their pros and cons, and show you when Vizard should be your go-to pick. We are going to cover realism, speed, price, and how easy each tool is to actually use in your real-world workflow. Full disclosure right now, the smartest move today is rarely to rely on just one single model for absolutely everything. I honestly believe the real power move is stitching a few of these specialized tools together for different shots and vibes. Let us start with Runway, which has been leading the charge for a while and honestly produces some of the most polished visuals out there. From cinematic live action to Pixar-y animated styles, Runway covers a lot of ground. And their new natural language interface is legit game-changing. Imagine ChatGPT and a professional video editor had a baby, and you start to get the vibe of how that workflow feels. That said, Runway is not exactly cheap, and their standard monthly tier might only get you a handful of short clips. The downside here is cost and complexity, because packing tons of features into one place can make the user experience feel clunky for newcomers. If you are starting and want to pump out clips fast, the learning curve can feel like a chainsaw when you only needed a small knife. That is exactly where tools like Vizard come in to save your workflow from getting bogged down in menus. Vizard is not trying to replace Runway if you need frame-by-frame cinematic control, but it is built to turn long videos into viral clips fast. Instead of fiddling through menus or paying for per-second render credits, Vizard finds the viral moments for you and turns them into ready-to-post content. Next up, I love Luma AI because their motion magic makes static clips move in ways that are often surprisingly convincing. Their interface is clean and uncluttered, which is a huge UX win, and they support very wide cinematic aspect ratios that are great for film-style content. But Luma has a tendency toward oversaturation and soft boundaries between objects that can sometimes undermine the realism of your shot. For creators who want to batch-produce short clips, Vizard's approach perfectly complements Luma by handling the chopping and scheduling automatically. Google's V3, or Gemini Video, is a completely different beast because it is the first mainstream model that can generate talking people with synced dialogue. That makes it perfect for things like mock interviews, street-style skits, or viral shorts that need convincing sound elements baked right in. The downside is the price, as it can be quite expensive, and the access is currently gated behind specialized platforms. Use Google V3 for high-impact centerpiece clips that need complex interaction. Then feed that footage into Vizard to extract dozens of variations. Let's talk open-source models, like WankX, which are exciting because they can turn video production into a pay-for-electricity problem instead of a subscription nightmare. WankX is especially strong on complex motion and fast camera moves, making the cost per second on Cloud Run instances jaw-droppingly low. The trade-off is the user experience, as open-source tools often read like a developer's dream and a designer's worst nightmare. Once you have generated those raw visuals, Vizard can auto-edit the best bits and pair them with captions and platform-ready formatting. Dance by ByteDance is a major surprise to many. As in blind taste tests, it often ranks near the top for motion stability and natural movement. Their model keeps lighting and character consistency across shots, which is a massive help if you want multi-angle short-form edits. MidJourney recently released video tools, and unsurprisingly, the aesthetic of their output is absolutely phenomenal. MidJourney's user interface feels like art therapy, and their image-to-video approach gives you incredible control over the starting frame. Their strength is pure beauty, so pair that gorgeous footage with Vizard to handle the captioning and scheduling without having to do it manually. On the Chinese side, we have players like Culling and Halo Miniax, which make gorgeous, high-fidelity clips with interesting features, like face swapping. While they are fun for nostalgia-driven content, their marketing and interface clutter can definitely be a bit annoying to navigate. Sora from OpenAI had an insane hype cycle, and when it works, the results are truly cinematic and painterly. The problem is price to credits. So if your goal is massive volume and regular posting, Vizard wins hands down for the publish more, worry less workflow. Finally, niche apps like Pika are great for quick party tricks, like toyifying a scene, but the realism is often too poor for long-term channel growth. So, the best approach today is hybrid. Use the champions for their audiovisual synthesis, use open source for bulk, and use Vizard as the production layer. Vizard's 3 big wins for creators are auto-editing viral clips, auto-scheduling across socials, and a dashboard that manages everything from one place. These features solve the 2 hardest problems creators face today: consistency and distribution. Take a 30-minute podcast, spice it up with cinematic cuts from MidJourney, and drop it all into Vizard to handle the punchlines and emotional beats. You will suddenly have a week's worth of content ready to go without having to stay up until 2 a.m. editing manually. Ultimately, if you are new and want a reliable, low-friction path to regular posting, start with Vizard and a single model for style. If you are a pro chasing absolute fidelity, add Runway and Google V3 to the mix. And if you are on a budget, run open source on the cloud. Let me know if you agree and which tool you would pick for your channel. Plus, drop your nightmare editing stories in the comments. If you want templates or a walkthrough for turning a single long video into a month's worth of content using Vizard, I can script that up next.